Nothing, just for him to make it,
Okay.
to get it together
I was
and
gonna say, I
deliver.
thought we had approved that.
It-
So it's just on,
It's
it's
approved.
just on their end of things.
It's
that
on
they
their
can-
end,
okay.
yeah.
I was hoping you weren't waiting on something that was.
No, no, it's their end.
Okay, no problem.
But in terms of the shoulder machine, to deal with those roads we have
Yeah,
with no shoulders on them,
yeah,
you had mentioned one time about it takes several months to build that
yeah,
shoulder machine.
yeah, you know,
Well, here it is approaching April 1st and snow will be flying again before we have it.
well, that again, I'll get with the shared services of the other towns and
Sure,
do the best I can again, and
certainly,
hopefully
certainly,
we can,
absolutely.
you know.
Great.
And the other thing with that is, that's not it's not a real cheap piece of equipment.
No, it's
either.
not.
So.
It's a cheap,
being
you know,
that
it's an
we're
expensive
spent-
piece of equipment, but it's
spending,
something that'll last.
Close to 300,000 on the
Yeah.
other.
And it's a piece
That's
of
why I say
equipment
when
that we can use year round,
Yeah.
you know, for, you know, heavy storms, washout,
Yeah.
you know, instead of, you know, the old fashioned way of,
Make sure that,
order and,
might just make sure when we start doing the budgeting for 2024, because we do have money in your unallocated fund, and we still have money that's gonna be in there for your large equipment fund.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure that next year we will have no problem, so that you can order it this winter, so to speak,
for sure,
and have it for next year.
for sure. Yeah, and we're still plowing and sanding here every now and then. Of course, working on the trucks, they don't, you know, they don't stay good all the time. Yeah, they're still breaking down. You know, and we're just, we're actually starting with beaver problems already in some of these culverts. So, trying to stay ahead of them too without, you know,
I went down and checked on the Roxy Lane, everything looks good down there.
yeah, I've been down there. Thank
So
you.
after all those
Thank you.
issues.
I've been down there,
Potential issues and
I've
all
been down
that.
there quite a bit.
I went down several times this spring and checked on that, and it looks like everything's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just been like from
I would
past
just keep
past
an eye
practice,
on
you know.
where your hay bales are still, they have the hay bales there, and I'm sure they did that when they seeded and stuff.
Yeah.
So they didn't wash it out.
Yeah.
You might wanna stop down, talk to them, and say, hey, those are kind of an obstruction for where that water is channeling to go across the road there. Just so I can back up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Their grass is pretty good now down there.
Yeah.
But so far, it looks like they didn't really change any of the water direction or anything down there.
No, not really. They did a very good job.
All right, well, thanks, Mike.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you.
You got anything for water? Okay, if that's safety and codes. You got anything, my friend?
Just basically to add to what's already been said, there are 2 other outstanding violations in the process right now. I do have paperwork on that complaint, and that is on top. I've been waiting for the snow to leave, so when we go up there and start taking the pictures to turn in, it's gonna be a true picture. It's not gonna be everything under snow. Same thing with another situation that's been asked about that I was out looking at prior to tonight. And that one is also going to be readdressed as soon as I find out whether it's bank or if it's property owner that has.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. All right. Well, like I said, I know you've been out there working, and like I said, I know that you're at the same time you're picking up new, you're still trying to finish up some of the old that needs to be worked on in there. So I know, I'll speak for the board, that we appreciate all what you did so far, and continue success in what you're doing in there. Back to you for town clerk. You want to get going? Assessor, I have nothing from him. Planning board, I didn't get anything from them. Dog control did submit a report to Mary today. He didn't submit for mileage because he didn't have a ton of mileage, so he's gonna wait for next month to see how much more he has. At any rate, such a small mileage check, so, but he did give me a report. That brings us to our attorney. Anything, sir?
No.
Oh, you're easy.
Yeah.
Alright, historian, before I get going, I'll go out of order by one again.
I just have some flyers over here. They're kind of quickly
put up that the next Tuesday, a week from today, is the 175th birthday, if you will, of the town of Schuyler Falls. So, not that I'm gonna bake it, so don't worry. We're gonna have a cake here from 11 to 4. So anybody that comes into the town hall or would like to come in, it's kind of an open house for the town historian's office. A little bit more than normal in the sense that you can have a piece of cake too.
Is
So-
that one that we got on the website yet? Okay,
No,
so
because I just did
just
this.
got it done, so we'll
But
get that.
as long as we can get it on the website, I can provide that.
Yep. So if you wanna get with her,
digitally.
that way she's got one already
Who's
made up and
email?
you're not trying to make a flyer.
Just mine.
Just,
Yep.
okay.
Okay,
I'll put it right up.
thank you.
That's awesome.
A week from today, the 4th of April. 4th of April, 1848 is when.
And that, like again, will be open to every resident.
Yeah, let's have
Don't
cake.
forget, we have our
Might
big
even find some
celebration in August of this year. So again, that's gonna be the big one, but it's nice to validate our town's birthday on the date, the actual day of it. So, thank you.
coffee. You're welcome.
I'll also put it up in the events as well.
Yes. That sounds good to me. Alright, so we're moving right along. Alright, supervisor's time. Just a couple quick updates. I'll try to keep this as quick as I can. The town website is much better than before, but in my opinion, I still need to give, some information and content on ongoing projects for the 2023. Pat's waiting on me for a few things. Some updates, some photos on the pictures, some mapping that I want to get him, and definitely I want to get my supervisor's MySpace up there, so to speak, where I can give a message to the town and let them know what's going on. So, again, we still need to, because we don't have a contract yet with anybody. Like we talked about, we looking at 3 different providers right now that pretty much will compete against each other. The board still has to make a decision on that. We're gonna bring this up at like I said, a roundtable discussion. I plan on holding the April 3rd work session if I can get enough to make a quorum there that night. I'd like to get that one kind of worked on, and that way everybody's pretty familiar with the updates that I gave them on the 2 other website. We have Todd's proposal. So we have 3, and that's what we like to see is 3 when we're looking at it for costs and expenditures and again, what we think they can do. So we'll bring that up at the next work session. As stated last month, our IT company has decided to stop services with the town, and we are again in search of an IT firm to handle that need. I have reached out to 3 potential firms. I have completed interviews with all of them, and we'll make a decision. I'd like to make a decision on no later than April 25th, which is our next board meeting, full board meeting, because we would do that by resolution, as to who that company will be. CST had agreed to stay on until the end of the month. Well, we're getting to the end of the month. So I reached out to our our previous IT provider, and I believe that he is going to take care of us for the 2 or 3 weeks that we need in the middle until we make that full decision. So under personal services, that's the easy one for me to do, take the hiring for a couple weeks until we make a decision. That way, we're not without IT services, and definitely the girls aren't without them for anything that they need or any problems that they have. So that's pretty cut and dry, and that should work. Things are still moving at a fast pace for the Morsel Water Project. Several resolutions were passed at our February 28th meeting. This has allowed us to continue successfully with the project to date. A walkthrough will be performed this week of the new land area proposed to receive the updated 12-inch main. That goes from the water tower to the flat rock road, so we can get that piece of pipe out of the middle of that field. So we're going to be doing that. We expect to have the final flyover completed shortly as the snow is finally going away. We did a preliminary, and I didn't want to have to keep, even though we don't pay anymore, to put them back up in the air and make them fly it and fly it and fly it. There was no sense of just doing it for nothing. So now that the snow is, you know, we still have some in the trees. That's what they're worried about right now. But I'm thinking within the next couple of weeks, as long as we don't snow again, they're going to be able to get up there, finish the LiDAR that they need, and get those elevations to make sure that we can get the final engineering done for the Morsel Water project. Okay, it hasn't stopped, but LaVerge is working on all the way. A lot of the final engineering they're still working on right now, but they can't get specific with the elevations in some areas until that other LiDAR is done. So again, things are moving. As I said, we need a new contract with LaVerge because USDARD had the not to go over clause in there. That has been, after we approved that last meeting, that has been sent to USDARD, and we're waiting their final acceptance and approval of that contract that we just did with LaVerge to make it compliant with the grant. Final mapping is still being prepared, like I just said, but also anybody that's over on River Street is going to see very shortly, if not this week, our archaeological study is now being finished completion, or will be finished completion. The last phase of that, phase 1, they've already done. They don't see anything that's of historical importance that again, that would stop this project, but they're required to do digs in certain areas where they felt there may be some historical preservation issues. So you might see them on River Street looking at a couple things there. The other thing they're doing with that is they're looking at the underground, for lack of a better term, to see where that ledge is that we had an issue with there back in 1953 when they put that water line in, when they hit that ledge, and doing pretty much like core samples to make sure that we have a good understanding of what we're going to need to put that water in, and that it is a reliable, safe system for the next 75 to 100 years, because that's what that new system will take us through. Who we happy about this one? Mr. Dabrowski. All right, the maps and plans that were set to the Clinton County Health Department for Mason Lane Water Project have been approved. The process is moving forward, and now that we have the Clinton County Health Department approval, we can put out our bids for the materials and the work to be performed on the project. After the bids are approved, we can then start the project. This is still projected to start early this year, as soon as we can get shovels in the ground. So tonight we do have a resolution to vote on to put that stuff out to bid for Mason Lane. I'm still waiting final engineering from Barton and LaJudas on the garage floor project. They are going to start their rebidding process as soon as the updated plans and mapping are completed. Or engineering, I should say, not mapping there. They are going to add into the project cost for a oil water separator system, just so we have if we got enough, because we transferred a couple $100,000 this year over to kind of pay for that. If we have enough, I'd like to take care of that oil well separator at the same time. Update on that subject. Due to the fact our highway trucks use salt, we cannot go with a filtered system. That was unfortunate. Salt cannot be filtered, which leaves us, like every other highway garage, that's not on a public sanitation system, forced to use a holding tank so that it can be trucked to a sanitation facility. So if we had our local sewer line that went right by the highway department, as of right now, they're trying to stop that too, but as of right now, we would be allowed to put our, after it goes through the large separator, it would be allowed to go into that sanitary system. But we do not have anything close to getting to the town of Plattsburgh down there other than trucking it, so that means that the only way, viable way we can do it legally right now is to put it in a holding tank, the exact system that's at the fire station. That tank would be pumped, then it would go down to the city and be treated before that water was released. So, that is what I have for my supervisor's updates.
Kevin, you gonna tell Mr. Dabrowski what you found out today and why?
Oh, okay, thank you. So, a question you had asked me about eight weeks ago now was why the water was off over there. I spoke to Val, and you can really thank Donna for reminding me again before this meeting tonight. But I talked to Val over there, and they had an accident where somebody had hit one of the hydrants over there, and they said that you should.
Hydrants over where?
Huh?
Hydrants over where?
Over somewhere. She didn't say it was right in front, but what she said is you should have never been totally without water, but you would have seen a big reduction in
Totally
the
off for an hour and 15 minutes.
All right, and that's what she said, because I said, he said it was out for several hours, and she goes, oh no, that was only out for an hour, hour and a half at the most, 2 hours she thought would be on the outside. But she goes, you never should have lost water totally, because they had to reduce the pressure in the main to fix
They reduced
that
it,
hydrant.
right?
Yeah, because they couldn't work on putting the new hydrant in and doing what they
I
had
was
to do
just
with
trying
the
to
full
figure out where,
pressure.
because I drove where the water comes from AC Lane down Irish Simon Road,
Yeah.
around my car, and there was nothing out there the whole time that I could see.
No,
and it
she
was coming through.
didn't give me
So,
exact spot,
yeah.
she just said in the vicinity,
Yeah.
which she said would have reduced, they would have had to reduce the water flow in order so they could work on that and replace
All
it.
right.
So, I just wanted to make sure I give you an update on it, so thanks for reminding me. Alright, that takes care of that, finished business and new business, we just went and blew through that, so that brings us to resolutions. So our resolutions tonight are 2339 through 2344. Let me click it easy on you. Alright, resolution 23-39. Be it resolved that the Town of Schuyler Falls Town Board acknowledges the resignation of Lloyd Provost Highway Department MEO/MEO, effective date of March 13th, 2023. So we're just accepting their resignation.
I'll move.
All right.
Second.
Wow, that was quick. All right, Sharon, Reggie. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. So, Mike, let us know who you got in the wings that you'd like to try to interview, and I'll help you try to get
Yeah.
another employee.
I've already tried a couple of guys, they're interested, but nobody's still showing up.
Do you want it in the paper again?
Please. Won't hurt.
Do you want it on the website?
Yeah. Very good idea.
Yep. Yeah, we just. If it goes on, it goes off. If it goes on, it goes off. That's one of
I was
those
gonna say,
timeouts, but.
it's easy to post it back up, so.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. Yeah, it's hard to
MEO.
get people to work. Next one, resolution 2340. Whereas LaBerge Group, a duly licensed engineering firm permitted to practice in the state of New York, had previously been retained by the town to prepare contract documents for Macy Lane Water Improvements Project, which will replace a portion of the existing water main in the Macy Lane Water District. And whereas LaBerge Group has prepared the required contract documents necessary for the project, and whereas the board does hereby accept and approve the contract documents for bidding, now Therefore, be it resolved that the town clerk is authorized to advertise for construction bids for the project using the contract documents approved by the board with a bid opening date of April 28th of 2023 at 11 a.m., which will give them at least 30 days. We want to make sure those are bid out for at least 30 days because that's about a medium-sized job, pretty good-sized project. In the back.
Oh,
All right, so can I get a motion?
Move.
Vern,
Second.
Sherm. Any discussing?
Yes, just quickly on
I
that.
almost made it.
Okay, shouldn't we have this bid opening per se? Shouldn't we used to do this at a meeting. Shouldn't we have a special meeting where we open the bids?
Well, we're gonna do it at a regular monthly meeting, like I was telling you. Can you answer that? early?
April 28th, and must be a mistake here then.
Yeah, it has to be.
no, that's what
He wanted 30 days,
Robert's
so
gonna
we wouldn't be able to actually open them. Cause our meeting is on the 25th, right?
That's why I
April
brought it up.
25th?
I did exactly what they told me to do.
That's a little bird one. I'll yell at RJ for that one.
It's today.
That's what I was gonna say. He might have just did a typo there. Today's the 28th, right?
28.
Yeah, so it's 30 days.
29th,
It's
30th.
gonna go in the
2
paper, I'm gonna
days.
put it in tomorrow,
That'll make it
and it'll go in probably on Friday, and I don't know how many times, maybe 2 or 3
6, 7,
times.
8 is 3 days.
But does anything say you have to have it for 30 days?
There's nothing that says we have to have it for 30 days. There is a minimum bid, but there is nothing that says it has to go out for 30 days.
Our meeting's on the
If
25th.
everybody's on this board is willing to go to our meeting on the 25th, I apologize, Reg, for that,
Yeah.
because that's what my intention was.
No,
Open
okay,
during
no,
that.
if we can change it,
No,
that's fine.
I'm glad you caught
Yeah.
it. So,
I have no problem with that.
if you're good with changing that to the 25th
Of course.
at our meeting,
Sure.
and everybody amends their document to that.
Yep.
I will make sure to get a hold of RJ tomorrow and make sure that when he sends, you can just change the date
I
on
can
yours
change it, I
anyways,
got
but
it,
I'll just
yeah.
make sure he's aware.
So you're gonna do it on April 25th at the 6 PM meeting?
Yeah, unless you wanna have a special meeting and then we'd leave this the same. But basically,
Why have a meeting 3 days after the other
our
meeting?
other one.
You know, why don't we change it to 25th, and we have to have a special meeting, we can vote on that on the 25th.
Sure.
Sure.
I just wanna read something else. Yeah, so we would have to do this at 6 o'clock.
6 p.m.
Because right now it says 11 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know quite what he's thinking. If that's any issue, again, I will bring that back to all you tomorrow, okay? So, he suggested 30 days. Minimum bidding on any town project is 5. And so we should be good there. All right, so with those 2 corrections, do we need to re-motion this, or are we good as corrected?
I think you're good as corrected, yeah.
Okay.
I put it in the discussion, after discussion was decided to alter the date to coincide with the meeting date of April 25th at 6 PM.
Change date and time.
Yeah, okay?
All right, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Okay. I'll figure that out tomorrow. Resolution 23-41. Whereas the New York State Association of Highway Superintendents annual conference is scheduled to be held in Ithaca, New York, on June 7th of 2022, and where as Michael Snyder has submitted the budget, his budget, and it has been approved in said budget for this conference, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. And be it therefore resolved, the supervisor is authorized to advance funds for pre-registration and purchase of travel, meals, and hotel accommodations for workshop. And I get a motion on that?
Well, I think you got your dates wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is,
Oh, 23, I'm sorry. Can we change it
Yeah.
to 23? Copy
In
and
June, and
paste.
then it was on the 5th, and then it was, that's why I was trying
I was
to
gonna
muddle
say
my way through
yeah,
that.
I heard it.
It says it's the 5th through the 7th.
yeah, it says 5th through the
Yeah.
7th, you said 7th.
Yeah.
Is it just the 7th or?
No.
It's the 5th through the
It is
7th.
5th through the 7th.
So, with that correction, can I get a motion?
Motion.
Reggie,
Second.
Vern, any discussion? Alright, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah. Alright, resolution 2342. Whereas the Adirondack Planning Forum is scheduled April 26th and the 27th at the Hotel Saranac in Saranac Lake, New York, and whereas the codes officer Howard Newton desires to attend, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. Cost is $83.65 for the registration. Hotel expenses, mileage, meal. Can I get a motion on that?
Motion.
Second.
Reg. Any other discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yes. Alright, resolution 2343. Motion by, whereas the New York State Planning Federation Conference is scheduled April 16th through the 18th in Saratoga Springs, New York, and whereas Tim Aubin, zoning board member, desires to attend, be it hereby resolved that the town board authorizes the attendance of said conference and expenses will be chargeable to the general fund as provided for in the 2023 budget. The cost of this is $240. That's for the registration, meals, accommodations, plus mileage. So can I get a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah. Alright, resolution 2344. Resolved that the town board of the town of Schuyler Falls approves the following general fund budget transfers from WM.0909.000 fund balance on reserve, $19,000 to WM.8310.400 administration conceptual expense for the same amount, $19,000, to cover the cost of expenses of the Burge today. Okay,
Kevin, is that for the water district project?
yeah, all the WM is for the water.
That's what I thought. So now, when we get our grants and stuff, do we pay this back to the general fund?
There are some, the first thing I did today was check to see what was in those accounts. So, right now, there's 290-something thousand in the unallocated part of that money. So, 19,000 will not hurt that account at all.
Right.
To answer your question, some are, okay? Some of those expenses, we can go back depending on which grant that we're using and get some of that money replaced back in. Some of them aren't, you know what I'm saying? Some of the expenses are. Either way, move forward with the project. That's what I was telling Mayor today. I'm going to get with Nancy Costin and find out, because I believe that's the one we need to start working on out of first, because we've got that one first. The CDBG for 1.25, and then we can start utilizing the expenses out of that one. Because I believe that one's 100% ready to go. There's still 2 or 3 things that we're working on for the USDAID before we go prior to bid. And what I want to know is, just what you said, is some of these expenses as we're moving through this project, just so it don't put us any further behind with it, if we can start utilizing some of the CDBG funds.
Okay. All right, so, okay, you'll let us.
But to be God's honest with you, this ain't even gonna hurt that.
No, I understand that, but you'll let us know, right?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Good question.
I'll make a motion.
Sure. I'll second. Burn? Okay, any further discussion? All right, roll call.
Mr. Bruno?
Yes.
Mr. Hamel?
Yes.
Mr. Facto?
Yes.
Mr. Randall?
Yeah. Thank you. Now, why I've been so befuddled for the last 10 minutes is because now I'm double thinking myself. So, I'm at a query with myself. Because you kind of threw me off guard because we have did that in the past. And we opened them here. But with the Barton with Judas one, they opened them.
Yes, yes.
And I think that's what he intended here. Because they're gonna rank them for us. Because there's no way this board is gonna go through those contracts that are that thick and know exactly what we're looking at.
You know what, Kevin, I bet you, I think you're right.
That's why.
Let me go
the
get
board
those sheets,
does it.
okay?
Good, so can we take a 5-minute break?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll give everybody a 5-minute break, but this is very important that we get that resolution right so that I can move forward with that. And you kind of threw me there, Reggie, but